All right, thanks, Roland. We'll see you again very soon. We have breaking news from Washington, D.C. Responses coming in from around the world after President Trump announced the U.S. is withdrawing from the Paris Accord.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris. I promised I would exit or renegotiate any deal which fails to serve America's interests.
President Trump made the announcement a couple of hours ago. Now, the Paris Accord is a global treaty meant to reduce the carbon footprint. Despite strong opposition from other countries, the president said he had no choice.
This agreement is less about the climate and more about other countries gaining a financial advantage over the United States.
Now, the Paris Accord was signed in December of 2015 as a commitment by more than 190 countries to reduce pollution. Ivanka Trump and Rex Tillerson were against the withdrawal. Others are critical of the decision, saying it will drive clean energy jobs to other countries.
Well, who's going to make the batteries? Who's going to make the electric cars? Is that California and America going to be significant, or are we going to give that to China?
Now, about an hour ago, France, Germany, and Italy issued a joint statement saying the Paris Climate Accord cannot be renegotiated. We are reaching out to Idaho's delegation to get their responses, and we'll let you know when we get them.
For a closer look at the impact of today's announcement, here's KBOI2's Scott Thuman.
The Paris Climate Accord is simply the latest example of Washington entering into an agreement that disadvantages the United States.
While in the Rose Garden, the president made his distaste for the Paris Accord known. Outside, protesters were speaking up too. In fact, the president feeling his own kind of heat over global warming from other world and big business leaders, tweeting and taking out ads.
2/3 of voters, including most Republicans, support the Paris Agreement. President Trump, stay in Paris and negotiate a better deal that creates jobs.
Critics worry the agreement won't work if one of the biggest players backs down on pledges to report pollution rates and a commitment to spend billions on cleaner energy. President Trump, though, long argued much of it was a hoax and that environmental regulations have cost American jobs.
Going into this accord would have cost us 6.5 million jobs, a lot of which would have been in the industrial and manufacturing sector. That by itself really is a deterrent to want to join something like this. But the other piece of this, Scott, that you have to understand is we already as a country are a leader in environmental protection.
But there's been plenty of hand-wringing over the deal, even within White House walls. Energy Secretary Rick Perry told us recently he was for renegotiating, not departing the deal, accusing other countries of not carrying their weight.
Over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been China and the United States that have actually lowered their emissions. France and Germany, Italy, they haven't. And so please don't lecture me about you need to stay in the Paris Accord the way that it's written because, you know, we think it's a great idea, when the fact is they're not doing their part.
So the president saying he's open to renegotiating a deal, one that would be, quote, more fair to the United States. But again, an example of the president bucking the system, abandoning a deal that almost every other country in the world had agreed to. At the White House, I'm Scott Thuman.
New at 4, President Trump also signed a waiver to keep the American embassy in Tel Aviv, Israel. It was moving to Jerusalem. Aides say it's just a delay, and the president will move it when conditions are right. Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu says he's disappointed it won't move soon, but still has a good relationship with the president.